The video is a part of a business academic series. The business topic in this video is Project Management Risk. Management Risk 2. The major components of the risk management process are: Step 1. Risk identification. Step 2. Risk assessment. Step 3. Risk response development. Step 4. Risk response control. Step 1. Risk identification. The risk management process begins by trying to generate a list of all the possible risks that could affect the project. Typically, the project manager pulls together, during the planning phase, a risk management team consisting of core team members and other relevant stakeholders. The team uses brainstorming and other problem-identifying techniques to identify potential problems. Participants are encouraged to keep an open mind and generate as many probable risks as possible. Step 2. Risk assessment. Step 1 produces a list of potential risks. Not all these risks deserve attention. Some are trivial and can be ignored, while others pose serious threats to the welfare of the project. Managers must develop methods for sifting through the list of risks, eliminating inconsequential or redundant ones and stratifying worthy ones in terms of importance and need for attention. Scenario analysis is the easiest and most used technique for analyzing risks. Team members assess each risk in terms of the undesirable event, all the outcomes of the event's occurrence, the magnitude or severity of the event's impact, chances, probability of the event happening, when the event might occur in the project, interaction with other parts of this or other projects. Step 3. Risk response development. When a risk event is identified and assessed, a decision must be made concerning which response is appropriate for the specific event. Responses to risk can be classified as mitigating, avoiding, transferring, sharing, or retaining. Mitigating risk. Reducing risk is usually the first alternative considered. There are basically two strategies for mitigating risk. 1. Reduce the likelihood that the event will occur and/or 2. Reduce the impact that the adverse event would have on the project. Step 3. Risk response development. Avoiding risk. Risk avoidance is changing the project plan to eliminate the risk or condition. Although it is impossible to eliminate all risk events, some specific risks may be avoided before you launch the project. For example, adopting proven technology instead of experimental technology can eliminate technical failure. Choosing an Australian supplier as opposed to an Indonesian supplier would virtually eliminate the chance that political unrest would disrupt the supply of critical materials. Contingency planning. A contingency plan is an alternative plan that will be used if a possible foreseen risk event becomes a reality. The contingency plan represents actions that will reduce or mitigate the negative impact of the risk event. Like all plans, the contingency plan answers the questions of what, where, when, and how much action will take place. The absence of a contingency plan, when a risk event occurs, can cause a manager to delay or postpone the decision to implement a remedy. Step 4. Risk response control. The last step in the risk management process is risk control. Executing the risk response strategy, monitoring triggering events, initiating contingency plans, and watching for new risks. Establishing a change management system to deal with events that require formal changes in the scope, budget, and/or schedule of the project is an essential element of risk control. The importance of change management system. Establishing a change management system to deal with events that require formal changes in the scope, budget, and/or schedule of the project is an essential element of risk control. Establishing a change management system to deal with events that require formal changes in the scope, budget, and/or schedule of the project is an essential element of risk control. Organizations use risk breakdown structures, RBSs, in conjunction with work breakdown structures, WBSs, to help management teams identify and eventually analyze risks. Figure 7.3, RBS, provides a generic example of an RBS. The focus at the beginning should be on risks that can affect the whole project as opposed to a specific section of the project or network. After the macro risks have been identified, specific areas can be checked. An effective tool for identifying specific risks is the work breakdown structure. Use of the RBS reduces the chance a risk event will be missed. Typically, the results of the first 3 steps of the risk management process are summarized in a formal document often called the risk register. A risk register details all identified risks, including descriptions, category, and probability of occurring, impact, responses, contingency plans, owners, and current status. The register is the backbone for the last step in the risk management process, risk control. Risk control involves executing the risk response strategy, monitoring triggering events, initiating contingency plans, and watching for new risks. The project team needs to be on constant alert for new, unforeseen risks. Management needs to be sensitive that others may not be forthright in acknowledging new risks and problems. Admitting that there might be a bug in the design code or that different components are not compatible reflects poorly on individual performance. Video from Bus Demi e-Learning Academy. The owner of Bus Demi e-Learning Academy is a PhD in business management, industry practitioner and academics university business professor in the USA. An analytical and forward-thinking professor with broad-ranging expertise in e-learning, business training, with 20 years of teaching expertise, course development, leadership training and other academic areas. Worked more than 20 years in the multinational USA corporation's electronics manufacturing environments, with extensive exposure to global diversity cultural settings overseas experience. Please subscribe to this channel.